SmackDown started by reminding you that Roman Reigns and Santos Escobar are arguing about who should be the tribal chief. That is the most wonderfully wrestling sentence ever. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to the only wrestling review show you do need with I, Simon Miller, the Ups and Downs King, where I'm going to wiggle my finger around, and if you see something getting up, it means it was good. If something gets down, it means it was bad. Are you ready? Strap yourself in and feel the G's. We then saw Santos Escobar walking backstage, but he was not headed for the ring. Because you ain't gonna believe this. It has set the internet on fire as well, but Tiffany Stratton was about to do Nia Jax's championship celebration ceremony. Now, Nia came out here on a big throne, and Tiffany was all like, look how pink it is. Jax was like, well, I do appreciate it, but it's not really my style, because my style is destruction. I looked at my screen for about an hour, and then I said to myself, that doesn't make any sense. She mostly said to take a shot at Bayley, though, who she did defeat for the championship at SummerSlam 2024. And she also mentioned that she was the Queen of the Ring. Now, I think this is so important, because when we get to 2025, everyone can go, oh, hi, Gunther and Nia Jax use these tournaments to become the champions. So it could become the most important King and Queen of the Ring ever. Nia then decided she wanted everybody in the ring to bow, and given that Tiffany Stratton had come out with Pretty Deadly, she made them do it. Now again, I can understand why this was happening. They're British, they understand royalty. It's also when Stratton told Helton and Kit to do their musical. Now, I've been waiting for this for many a week, and I could actually not believe it. I mean, it had lines such as, it's not our first time we have bowed before a queen, but you're the prettiest one I have ever seen. And it even had a dance break. And I was watching this going, man, am I actually seeing this, or have I accidentally taken drugs? I've seen you on the internet too going, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, and that wrestling should get rid of segments like this. Well, I tell you, if we get into some kind of war, some kind of two armies coming together to see whether it goes or not, I will be on the side protecting this nonsense. I think I died. Michin then appeared from nowhere and she just whacked everybody with the kendo stick, especially Pretty Deadly. And I was like, what actually did they do to you, Michin? They just had a platform to perform their musical, so you are now an enemy of the arts. She also drank some champagne to finish this, and maybe I've forgotten something. I get I am stupid. I was like, shouldn't Bayley be in this role? She needs some smoke under her ass. I do understand though, because later on we did find out that Michin is going to take on Nia Jax next week, so that's just a nice early opponent that Nia can take out. That's all I've really got to say about that part. The thing is though, this was so dumb. Like, it was so dumb, and in many ways terrible, but it went so far in one direction, it did a 180. And listen, when I sit down to watch pro wrestling, I just want to be entertained. And that doesn't always mean a 5-star match, that doesn't always being super serious, in fact that would be boring. This was totally unhinged, and I cannot believe it happened on a television show, but I'm absolutely giving it an up, because I had a tremendous time. And if people want to do crazy stuff, I'll support it. We then cut to Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill after this, and they were being serious. I was like, who cares? Carmelo Hayes then arrived and said, hey man, are you gonna come party with me later when I do beat Andrade? Like, bro, you 2-0 down to that guy. And Carmelo was like, well, that is true, but at least you're gonna be watching my match. It was well timed too, because then we got to this fight, and I'm just gonna clap my hands together like some kind of a seal. These two have tremendous chemistry, and they should go and take sides together. Now, I do admit at first it was a little bit weird, because Andrade just beat this guy, but the fact Carmelo kept going, come on man, come on man, come on man, and now we've got to this point, well, I think they should do a best of 7 series, because they have taken my guts and I'm invested. Hayes ran away at the start as well to underline his character, which is when Andrade did go to the tippity top rope. You know what Carmelo did, because he is a bad guy, he used that to ensure Mr. Tranquilo fell into the damn thing, so he hurt his testicles. Andrade then chopped him so damn hard, so Hayes came back with a springboard, and the speed of this, especially because Andrade then went for his moonsault, and I was like, damn, you two guys are good at the wrestling. Carmelo then pushed Andrade from the top of Tina the Turnbuckle, which was absolutely horrible, when we got the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. Because when we came back from the advert, from nowhere, the roles had reversed. I mean, this happens every time. This time it was 50-50 as well, as Carmelo Hayes was totally boned because he got hit with this amazing Spanish fly. I'm just going to be a nerd for 1 second. At some point, somebody has to make that their finishing move, This is bloody brilliant. It's also when I started to chant let them fight forever or 20 minutes on a TV show would be perfectly fine when we got the super kicks. And when Andrade went for the three amigos, when we got to the third one, Carmelo was able to reverse that. And that's something that's always going to happen too. Like anyone that does the three amigos always gets screwed after the second one. So maybe we should now subtract this down to the two amigos. Good. Carmelo was able to turn that into a cutter when they just went back and forth again. We got big elbows and big knees. I mean, they hit them with that. They didn't just show it to the camera. When Andrade went for a second moonsault, and I was like, no, bro, you've already done that before. You can't do it again. When they essentially traded pins, when Carmelo Hayes got the most devastating move. In all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up, he grabbed the legs, and he got the 1, 2, 3. They were also so mad at each other after this, they started to brawl until officials did break it up. And the fans were totally into this because they were shouting, let them fight. Which essentially is supporting crime. What are you going to do? It also felt like sports though, because you were left with this idea, well, he just wants to beat him, and now he wants to beat that guy, even though Andrade is 2-1 up. So yeah, let's treat it like the NBA finals or something, and just let them go at least one more, because then you can do a best of 5. So he is definitely getting an up, and a great piece of evidence that sometimes if you do have a plan, just keep going week to week to week. This was absolutely fabulous. Santos Escobar was then backstage again, and he was basically talking to Tama Tonga about the Ula Fala. And this is essentially like a lightsaber in Star Wars, or the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. It has magic powers. Tonga also promised to murder Roman Reigns later, as Sikoa made it very clear what this necklace means, because if it does go back around the neck of Roman Reigns, it means he is now the tribal chief again. So I was like, okay, we've made this a literal thing, so if I sneak in and I put the Ula Fala around my head, it means I would be the tribal chief. The bald tribal chief. And it's something to think about. So then sort of ended this segment by sexually caressing the Ula Fala, so that was a bit weird, but don't worry, we'll get back to it later. Because before that, we had Naomi versus Blair Davenport, and this was both parts good, and maybe not so good. The good part comes to the fact that Blair won. We talked about this a few weeks ago. She is still a relative new call-up from NXT, and as we have seen time and time again, you have to get victories quite early on, otherwise you do lose the main roster audience. So for doing that, definitely getting it up. As for the match itself though, well, I just think it was one of those occasions where maybe it's not your night, and that's okay. We've all gone to work and sometimes been like, man, there's a bit of miscommunication here, and that didn't click. They are two great professional wrestlers. They will know better than us. We did see NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez in the crowd, because why not, as we were in Florida, when Blair went up to Naomi and pushed her. Here we go. She then tried for the clothesline, but Naomi was able to dodge that when she hit the rear view and her split-legged moonsault. Let's just remember that Naomi has a lot of good moves. We also got a crossbody as we cut to a commercial break when, yeah, the devastating force was back because Blair Davenport had taken over when we returned. Listen, man, what do I know? Nothing. I would actually call myself stupid, but if you are in WWE, I would go to the production truck before your match and say, damn it, do not play an ad. We then got this sort of weird head scissors, and that's when it did go a bit wishy-washy, when Naomi decided, I'm going to try for my moonsault again. That did not work. Blair Davenport stomped her when she gave her the big old knee, and she pinned her for the 1, 2, 3. So it rhymes, so something must be correct. I think this just ties into the bigger picture we have talked about here before on Ups and Downs. The story just needs a little bit something extra, because at the moment it's just, well, I don't like you, but I don't like you either. Like someone could get a glove out and slap the other one round the face. It'd be like ye old narrative. But yeah, I am going to give it a down. But is it a big deal? No. And both of them will be perfectly fine. When we got a video for Giovanni Vinci, and we talked about this last week, now he's just a really Italian. Still though, at least he is coming back because he vanished for so long. I thought we were never going to see him again. Although he has grown a goatee, and he's moved back to Europe. I mean, I just hope that helps him with his pro wrestling career. Grayson Waller was then moaning to Austin Theory because he doesn't want to face Kevin Owens later. He has better things to do. Grayson also started to moan about the fact that Kevin was going to get a title shot when, of course, Kevin Owens did teleport in from the Starship Enterprise. He was like, yeah, I agree with you, you stupid Australian. I said last week that I didn't deserve it, but that just means you should be able to beat me nice and easy. Ha ha ha! Why don't we go to the ring and do it right now? I just watched all this going, I think I'm in love with Kevin Owens. Now last week people were so mad about this storyline going, oh, why would Kevin Owens turn down a world title shot? But I am actually pleased to hear this, because you must have never have suffered from imposter syndrome, which essentially is what that was. And in fact, it's one of the best things about WWE's new era. We do humanize baby faces. I actually think it was a good try at something different. We then did get the tribute graphic and this excellent video for Afa Anoa'i, who very sadly did pass away before SmackDown. Now obviously this was even more sad because his tag team partner Sika only passed away a few weeks ago, but as we said then too, just find a few minutes today to watch the Wild Samoan matches. They are a terrific tag team. As always, thoughts with his friends and family. We then saw Ethan Page in the crowd for the same reason as earlier, because once again we were in Florida when it was Grayson Waller versus Kevin Owens, and this was just a good time. Now Grayson didn't fancy being crushed by a cannonball, so he did escape early on, which is a terrible idea, because KO grabbed him and he threw him into barricade. KO then yelled at Austin Theory, who was sort of casting distraction here, and Waller was able to get the upper hand when he made a terrible decision because he took a chair and he went the other side of barricade and he sit there. And I was like, Grayson, mate, we've talked about this on the show time and time again. That counts as taunting. You've got to leave your D-pad at home because taunting in 2024 never works. Now, he definitely doesn't talk like that, and if he did, he should be arrested. But this was such a good camera shot because as we saw Grayson sat there, Kevin Owens just appeared from behind like he was the Undertaker, and he kind of whooped his ass. But actually, Waller used this and he threw Kevin to the ring post. And I got a 1-2 when Grayson tried to follow up with a superplex, but that was a terrible idea because he wound up getting swan-tonned instead. Waller then increased his MP because he went for his rolling move, but Kevin was like, the #1 contender, dude. We're only having this match so I can increase my stock. So not only did he hit the stunner, but he also hit the pop-up powerbomb to get the 1-2-3. So this dude was cooking. Of course, Theory got involved right after this, and they did beat up Kevin Owens. But that's just so Cody Rhodes could come to the ring to make the save. Now, 1, he got such a ridiculous pop, I laughed out loud. And 2, he came out with the title, which means he was backstage at Gorilla saying to everyone, listen, if something does happen to Kevin Owens, I will go out there. But also, I've got to carry my title, otherwise nobody will know it's me. And they did destroy these guys when there was some awkwardness between the two, because Rhodes went to pick up his championship belt, which is the real reason he brought it out there, and Kev took it first, and he looked at it, and he looked at Cody, and looked at it, and looked at Cody, and then he passed it to him, and at one point we also had that camera shot where you're like, oh my gosh, Kevin may attack the man, but he didn't. Now, I really hope eventually Kevin Owens does go crazy, because when he does have the championship up for grabs, he can't help himself, because I just think that will differentiate itself from the other programs that Cody has done post-WrestleMania, but we wait and see. It was alright though, and I am slightly concerned that we're moving this into filler position, because we've got to deal with the Roman Reigns stuff first, but that is like moaning that somebody gave you 2 pizzas when you only ordered 1. Right, now, Cody and Roman are so over, and 2 mega baby faces. We are eating good. Let's get it up. Solo was then telling the Bloodline backstage, you'll have to acknowledge me later. This was like the reaction some people gave to Rhea Ripley when she insinuated that Dominic Mysterio has a small penis. If all of a sudden you start shouting, it doesn't matter he has a small penis, everyone just goes, that guy's got a small penis. And it doesn't matter if you do have a small penis, just work with what you got. We then had this video for Legado del Fantasma. They were all having this dinner, and essentially Santos Escobar just yelled at Angel and Berto for about 5 minutes. If that was me, I'd be like, Santos, if you ever invite me for food again, I'm not coming. Escobar's big plan though is for them to remember who they are. I'm kind of done with that phrase. When we learned that it's Santos versus LA Knight next week for the US title. Feels kind of random, but why not? LA Knight must have been watching this too, because he came out straight away, and you knew this could be a quick promo because he did it in the aisleway. He just went, Santos Escobar, what a douchebag, and I'll beat him next week. Yeah, that was it. Now, I can't hate it because Knight is so over, it just gets you excited in your tootsie toes, but we need to make sure we come up with some proper feuds so we can do with the US Championship what we did with the Intercontinental Championship when Gunther had it. So I can't really up or down this because, again, it just flew by. So we will be patient and we will wait and see. Michin then walked down Nick Aldis's office and she bumped into Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And then Chelsea Green won this scene in about 3 seconds. Because she was all like, well, I was going to do what you did, but you know, I was just enjoying the whole car crash here where Michin was like, well, you should have done that because I just got myself a championship match. Chelsea was so mad. She barged into Nick Aldis's office and she shouted, sorry, not sorry. She really is a very terrific character. Also, she has such good chemistry with Piper Niven. WWE done a great job with that team. As soon as they had left, Nia Jax appeared and she threw Michin into a door because why wouldn't you do that? And yes, we shall do this match next week. And Nia can just get a 1 on her defending title record. Whatever that means. Trick Williams was then shown in the crowd, which I did like, because it just shows that WWE is behind him. When we got a #1 contender match for those tag team titles, This very well could be the best thing on the show. There's also the Street Profits taking on DIY, and all I'm going to tell you today is find 15 minutes and sit down and watch this. It had absolutely everything, and some of the near falls towards the end, well, it had me on an emotional roller coaster. Montez Ford and Johnny Gargano also started here, but when they got to a stalemate, they just shook hands like good pals. When they tagged in Tommaso Ciampa and Angelo Dawkins, they basically did the same thing. I was like, come on, you absolute goobers, get to the fighting. Now that did happen when Dawkins just flattened Ciampa on the outside, when you ain't gonna believe this, the most powerful force in all the sports entertainment did return. The commercial break was there, and I'm sure you can figure it out for yourself. Gargano was able to get the spear though for the 1-2 when the tag klaxon went off and everyone just ran at each other. And when things did calm down, Angelo was like, ha, I'm gonna hit a swanton. He totally missed. Montez and Johnny then both hit dives at the same time when they got into a super kick battle, and that led to a really good near fall, because Johnny exhausted his HP, so he just fell on Ford, and he got the 1-2-oo. Montez then went for a 450, but he went into Tommaso Ciampa's knees when all of a sudden DIY hit the Shatter Machine, and that also got a 1-2-oo, and people were breaking up these pins at the last second, and that's when I knew I was in for a good time. The Street Profits then followed in kind with another great false finish, when I actually went, man, I don't know who's going to win this, when Montez Ford took this crazy back body drop to the floor. I mean, that dude got high. This is when we maybe got the best tease, because Tommaso Ciampa went to hit the fairy tale ending, but before we did that, Johnny Gargano smashed the Street Profits with a super kick, and honestly, the breakup of that one, once again, I was just doing a round of applause, and these guys, every single one of them, need to be featured more. It meant that everybody started to fight again when they all found themselves on the outside, and that's when the Street Profits took out Tommaso Ciampa, and they grabbed Johnny Gargano, and they gave him the blockbuster to get the 1-2-3, but I will tell you this for free, I have not done this justice, and now we are going to get the Bloodline versus the Street Profits. Just kind of sad. I don't think the Profits of the Street are going to win. In terms of what they have been doing recently though, this was an awesome reminder that they are so damn good, which the same is for DIY. This was top tier stuff. Let's gang it up. When I did learn it was time to actually give out our first award of 2024, because do you know who was going to get bestseller of the year? Jacob flippin' Fatu. Now Solo and Tama were here first, and Sikoa was all like, you must acknowledge me, crowd. When they didn't, it always turns into such a charge. It's like, fine, man, I don't care if you acknowledge me or not. That's not even important right now. The only person that should be acknowledging me is Roman Reigns. So you better get out here. He then mentioned the Ula Fala, and as we keep talking about, this thing does have magical powers. So it got me thinking, who in the hell went and sorted that out?
It was me! It was me! I did it! For you see, when it comes to the Eula Fala, I lined it with crack cocaine! That's right, everybody likes crack cocaine. That's just a fact of life. I'm the Wizard of the Sky. Now, excuse me, I'm off to have some crack cocaine.
Well, that makes perfect sense. It did summon Roman, though, who came out to such a big pop, I thought somebody had burst a balloon, and him and Solo Sikoa did do the big old super serious stare down. Sikoa also passed the necklace to Tama Tonga, and he took it out to one side when they did begin to fight, and of course, as soon as Roman Reigns started to win, Tama Tonga was here too, he was laying in the punches. Thing is, though, he's not pushed as hard as Roman, so he got totally murked when Roman Reigns started to undress Alan the announce table, because I presume he was going to throw somebody through it. Before that though, Solo tried to stop him with the spike, so instead Reigns gave him the big old super match and the ooh-rah spear. And honestly, seeing thousands of people treat Roman Reigns like a baby face gives me a tear in my eye. We finally arrived. It also did actually mean that Roman had cleared the way, so he took the Ula Fala and he put it around his neck. I was like, well, there we go. Feud over. He's the tribal chief again. Let's go home. Roman's music even started playing, but that was nothing but a big tease, because of course we've already teased it. Who then made their big return to WWE? It was Jacob Fatu. Now he does still have a walking boot on, but now I'm totally convinced I have been worked, because oh my gosh, he ran through Roman here, and I could feel it in my tum-tum. I was like, yep, this is the match I need in my life. I mean, do not forget that Roman is the #1 guy in the company. Jacob tore him to shreds, to such a degree that the Bloodline 2.0 got together, and they threw Roman Reigns through that damn Alan the announce table with the Shield powerbomb. I mean, talk about poetic irony. Look at this face by Roman Reigns as well. He wasn't playing, he was totally dead. This is when Solo reclaimed the Ula Fala, and he put it around his neck. So I was like, man, he must be the tribal chief again. But actually, this was a smart old play, because earlier Sakura had said if Roman does do this, he will be the tribal chief. And what did we learn like 40 minutes later? He ain't nothing but a big old liar. It also meant the final shot of SmackDown was the new Bloodline doing the one's fingers over Roman Reigns' dead body. And of course nobody came out to save Roman Reigns. For the last 4 years, this is the treatment he gave to everybody else. So I bet there was a bunch of baby faces back there going, good, hopefully you now understand how it feels. Also, Roman has been destroyed by the Bloodline. He can't do it by himself. Sounds like he's gonna have to get himself some recruits. And so yes, people like to go, we just do the same thing with the Bloodline each and every single week. But if it gets reactions like this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now I'm super excited because again, Survivor Series is but a couple of months away and we are about to get one hell of a civil war. This is getting it up. Also, just think Jacob Fatu is the best thing ever. He just went totally crazy here. This episode of SmackDown is getting it up. It had some great matches and a damn good ending. Color me excited. Also, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs from AEW Dynamite, so you can keep up with all my wrestling thoughts. Otherwise, just have a terrific day and a terrific weekend, my friends. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.